Congress need to reclaim the narrative is the question. I'm asking you this question on a day when we're hearing that Rahul Gandhi has flown abroad for yet another personal trip again. I think this is his 5th vacation abroad this year. As a Congress leader, how do you feel about that? I mean, there's so many of you all clamoring within the party for him to take over again. Is he really ready to do that?
Well, first of all, I'm not aware whether Mr. Gandhi is in India or he has gone abroad. And if he has done so, he must be having valid reasons for doing so. Be that as it may, as I was earlier stressing and re-emphasizing, that that ideological, philosophical construct which underpins the grand old party is something which needs to come out in its entirety, in its full bloom, because eventually
no, but are you saying in a sense there's a leadership vacuum, which is why you're not able to get control of the narrative the way the BJP is? Would you admit that there needs to be a shake-up right at the top?
Well, I think it's not about getting control of the narrative, because, that's really a very pedestrian way of looking at it, if I could use that word. I think the challenge is much larger. The challenge is much greater. And if you allow me to go back a little in time, you see, in 1947, post the partition.
No, Manish, don't go back to 1947. I go back to it later. I'm simply asking you, does the Congress, really need to look at a drastic shake-up of its leadership right at the top? Yes or no? As someone who has seen your own colleagues exit the party one by one, and you know that not everybody is doing it because, they have only personal ambitions. Many of them have felt ignored, sidelined, not taken for granted. What do you think the party needs to do?
Well, the short answer to that is that there is an election process which is playing itself out currently. And those who feel that they have concerns with regard to the issues that they articulated obviously need to take advantage of this process and see whether they can use it in order to ensure that their point of view gets reflected in a efficacious manner.
Should a non-Gandhi be Congress president, Manish Tewari?
Well, you see, again, I don't want to reduce everything to a television binary, whether, it is this or it is that. I don't think it's as simple as that. It's not only about an individual which television loves to make it out to be. I think the challenge is graver, it is deeper. It requires the collective energies of all those people who are committed to these founding values, and only if we are able to, as I said earlier, reignite these values, would we be able to politically also make a difference and be able to arrest the slide which you keep talking about and referring to?
Well, you're candid to say that it's a much graver and a deeper problem that goes beyond which individual should lead the Congress. A few months ago, and I'm quoting you, this was around the time of the Punjab election, you said, I will not leave the Congress party, but if someone wants to push me out of the party, then that's a different matter altogether. I've given 40 years of my life to the Congress. Has someone been trying to push you out?
Well, in the sense, obviously, if the statement was made, it was made in a certain context. And therefore, I stand by each and every word of that statement, which I had articulated possibly in the February of 2022. And and what I was attempting to say then, and I would repeat it now, that I and people like me have spent every waking moment of their adult lives in the service of the Congress party. And therefore, when you see that the values for which you have contributed your entire adult existence, they are not getting upheld in the manner in which they should be upheld, obviously that causes anguish, that causes pain, and that also gives you impetus to rededicate yourselves for the defense of those values.